There are moments in sports when you hear something and think, wait, that can't be real. Well, that's exactly what just happened to Baltimore Ravens. One tiny mistake, barely noticeable, turned into a massive headache that cost the team a lot of money and put them right in the NFL spotlight. And it all started with a mix-up involving the one name nobody in Baltimore ever wants to see off the field, Lamar Jackson. The craziest part? No one saw it coming. It looked like just another regular week of practice until the league found something odd in the team's reports and decided to take action. The fine was steep, the message was loud, and the league made sure everyone paid attention. So, what really happened behind all this? And how did one small detail end up costing the Ravens so much trouble? You know, when someone tries to act calm, but deep down you can tell things are about to blow up? That's exactly how the situation played out. The Ravens got hit with a $100,000 fine from the NFL over what looked like a simple reporting mistake, but one that sent the wrong message. They listed Lamar Jackson as a full participant in practice, even though he was still working his way back from a hamstring injury. On paper, it looked like he was ready to play, but in reality, he wasn't even close. In the NFL, every single word on an injury report carries serious weight. The league is obsessed with transparency, especially when it comes to superstars like Lamar. By calling him a full participant, the Ravens unintentionally created a storm of confusion. Fans got excited. Analysts started predicting his return, and fantasy managers finally relaxed. But when game day came and Lamar wasn't even active, that excitement turned into frustration almost instantly. The league dug into the situation and found no bad intentions, just a breakdown in communication. But even that wasn't enough to let it slide. The NFL called it negligence, meaning the team simply wasn't careful enough with how they presented the information. It didn't affect the game itself, but it did damage the Ravens' credibility. And as punishment came that six-figure fine, a costly reminder that in the NFL, even the paperwork has to be flawless. To their credit, the Ravens didn't fight it. No long statements, no arguments, no excuses. They owned the mistake and promised to be better. It was a rare show of humility in a league where every decision gets dissected from every angle. But the message was loud and clear. In today's NFL, it's not enough to play great football. You've got to communicate it perfectly too. And that raises the big question. If the league takes something as small as a report this seriously, what makes these injury documents so important in the first place? The answer comes next. It all started with what looked like an innocent choice of words, but it snowballed into a full-blown problem. The Ravens listed Lamar Jackson as a full participant in practice, which in NFL language means he's completely healthy and ready to go. But in reality, Lamar wasn't even close to that. Sure, he was on the field, but only working with the scout team, the group that mimics the opponent's plays during the week. That's like saying you played in the Super Bowl because you were on the sidelines holding a clipboard. That kind of mistake doesn't usually happen in Baltimore. This is one of the most organized, detail-oriented franchises in the league. But this time, they slipped up, and when the name Lamar Jackson shows up anywhere, every word gets magnified. So when full participant appeared on the report, the entire city of Baltimore lit up. The excitement spread like wildfire until, less than a day later, the reality check hit. Lamar wasn't playing against the Bears after all. Fans felt frustrated, and for a moment it looked like the Ravens were trying to be sneaky about his health. But once the NFL investigated, they realized it was nothing like that. The team just got a little too eager to show that Lamar was improving. They meant well, but their wording backfired in the worst way possible. And that's the lesson. In a league as closely watched as the NFL, even a single phrase can spiral out of control. A small mistake turned into a major headline, and suddenly a routine injury report became a public reminder of how seriously the league treats transparency. That obsession with accuracy might sound over the top, but there's a reason the NFL enforces it so hard, and it goes far beyond just internal paperwork. The NFL doesn't overlook anything, especially when it comes to the integrity of the game. As soon as they spotted the inconsistency in the Ravens' injury report, the league office launched a full investigation. Their goal was simple: find out whether Baltimore tried to hide Lamar's condition, or if it was just an honest mistake. The conclusion was clear: no deception, but definite negligence. And in the NFL, negligence still comes with a price tag. For the league, injury reports are a cornerstone of the sport. In an era where billions of dollars are tied up in fantasy leagues, analytics, and betting, accurate information is everything. Listing a player's healthy when he's not doesn't just mislead an opponent. It ripples through the entire system, from fans to odds makers. That's why the NFL didn't hesitate to drop the fine. The $100,000 penalty wasn't about the money. It was about the message. The league wanted to remind every team that transparency isn't optional. Injury reports aren't just paperwork. They're part of the game's integrity. Every team has to follow the same rules: no shortcuts, no creative interpretations. Once teams start bending the language, the balance of competition and trust starts to crumble. That's why this whole incident turned into an example for the rest of the league. A public warning that, in the NFL, precision off the field matters just as much as execution on it. And Baltimore's response showed they understood that better than anyone.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Instead of fighting back, the Baltimore Ravens took the calm, mature route. The team released a short, straightforward statement admitting they clearly made an error and promising to tighten things up moving forward. It was a PR equivalent of saying, "Yeah, we messed up. Won't happen again." No drama, no excuses, no deflection, just accountability. That move surprised a lot of people because most NFL teams push back hard when they're fined. But the Ravens want to protect their image and move on quickly. Inside the locker room, the message was the same: stay focused on the field, not on the noise outside it. They knew that once Lamar was back healthy, they have much better things to talk about than paperwork. And honestly, that reaction fits who the Ravens are. This is one of the most disciplined, steady organizations in the NFL. They don't chase headlines, they don't feed controversies, and they don't let distractions linger. That consistency helped them weather the storm and walk away from the situation with their reputation intact. In the end, Baltimore paid for the mistake, but not in the ways that truly matter. The lesson stuck that in the NFL, attention to detail extends far beyond the playbook. Every spreadsheet, every report, every word counts. And as the front office moved past the mess, the team on the field did what it does best: got back to winning football. Despite all the off-field drama, the Ravens stayed steady where it mattered most: on the field. While Lamar Jackson was recovering, Tyler Huntley stepped in and led key wins, including a clutch one over the Chicago Bears. When Lamar finally returned, he looked like himself again: electric, dynamic, unstoppable, leading Baltimore to a statement victory against the Miami Dolphins. That comeback silenced all the noise. What started as a paperwork controversy ended with Baltimore's franchise player reminding everyone why he's one of the most exciting talents in football. It was almost poetic. The best way to respond to a league fine is by winning big. Still, the lesson lingered. The organization learned that in today's NFL, precision isn't just about routes and reads. It's about communication, too. One wrong word can cost thousands, and worse, credibility. The Ravens won't let that happen again. You can bet every injury report in Baltimore is now triple-checked before it ever reaches a league office. In the end, this wasn't just a story about a fine. It was a wake-up call for every team in the league. In the NFL, the game starts long before kickoff. It starts with how you operate, how you communicate, and how you respect the system. And after this, there's no doubt, the Ravens learned that even one misplaced word can change everything. Ultimately, this whole mess turned into a powerful reminder, not just for the Ravens, but for every team in the league. What seemed like a tiny mistake ended up carrying a huge price tag, proving that in football, every detail counts. From the playbook to the paperwork, precision is everything. But to their credit, Baltimore handled it the right way. They owned the error, moved forward, and let their play do the talking. Once Lamar was back, the Ravens reminded everyone why they're still one of the league's most respected franchises. The question now is, will this experience change how the Ravens handle things behind the scenes from now on, or was it just a one-time stumble? Either way, one thing's for sure. In Baltimore, no one's forgetting anytime soon just how expensive a single word can be.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.